Welcome to the High Ticket Success Podcast, where premium coaches, consultants, and advisors come for bold strategies, big breakthroughs, and real results. I'm your host, Dave DeBow.
Have you ever had the situation where you've gone somewhere and somebody asks you, "Hey, Dave, what do you do?" And then you fumble, you bumble, you mumble, you completely screw it up? Guilty. Have you ever been in that situation? Well, if so, that's kind of like one of the fundamental building blocks for marketing, is just like being able to encapsulate what the heck it is that we do and be able to articulate that, say that to another human being. So today's special guest, Amy Hager, knows all about this. In fact, that's what she and her partner do with Joyful Business Revolution, as they help us with organic marketing. And today we're going to be talking about a few different things, but starting with what the heck to say when somebody says, "Hey, Amy, what do you do?" So Amy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave, for setting that up.
Well, then why I'll set it up right now. So Amy, what do you do?
Yeah, so kind of what you were describing, really working on the organic marketing and messaging when it comes to talking about your business. And I really feel that if you don't have that descriptor when you first meet people, or when you're talking to your family during the holidays or whatever it might be, and they're always left with that, "What do they do again?" kind of feeling, especially if you own a business. We really want to make sure that we work on that. And when you can get that foundation fundamentally set to where people can really connect with the work that you're doing and see people to refer to you, or even say, "Oh my gosh, I need your help," then we know that your marketing and your messaging is really working well. And that's when you can go do a bunch of other really super fun things. But without that foundational messaging, you're just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, and sometimes even wasting a lot of money, to be honest with you.
Yeah, most definitely. So Amy, tell me a little bit about who you guys serve and how you serve them.
Yeah, so I would say I best work with people who have service-based businesses. So
Like what?
if you're a marketing agency, or maybe a financial planner, or a holistic health provider, when you think about the service that you're providing, usually it's a human-to-human type interactive service, right? So I'm not really helping people who have retail stores or products on their Etsy account or things along those lines. The messaging of a product versus the messaging of a service is extremely different. And so whether your service is helping a customer or a end user, or maybe your service is helping another business, that aspect of your client or your customer doesn't matter, but it is that human-to-human service interaction that is really important in the messaging that we create.
Cool. All right. So that's who you're working with.
Yeah.
People in the service business. How do you typically help them?
Yeah. So I like to say, I just let the words flow. And really how we help is to really ask great questions, to look at some of the conversations that they're having, whether they're sales conversations, get to know you chats, maybe speaking from a stage, and really figure out how to make those one-liners a little bit more punchier, a little bit more connecting, but also to open up for conversation. Because a lot of times messaging gets interpreted as it needs to be a pitch. And that's not the case. You really want your messaging and your marketing to be a conversation starter and to really engage with people, because we really want to, as people buy from other humans, especially when we're buying a service, right?
Yeah.
And so figuring out how to have conversations, how to really listen and be active and speak thoughtfully with the person that you're engaging with, so that at the end of that conversation, they can be super clear on who they need to connect with you, or if they need your help.
Yeah, very, very well said. So Amy, back in the day, and I've been around for a few days, as you can tell by all this gray on me, there used to be, we used to talk about and train people about how to do their 30-second commercial or their elevator pitch and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there were all these templates and plug in this word here. And shame on me. I mean, I taught a lot of people about that, and it always felt icky and kind of salesy and pitchy. And neither I nor anybody else ever really used their elevator pitch because they do it once or twice and they get some really weird looks from the other person, or they smile politely and buzz off.
Yeah. Right?
So
you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen. So, fix my screw up, kind of walk me through when you're working with a new client. How do you help them articulate what they do in a non-pitchy way?
Right. And, Dave, to be honest, you weren't wrong formatting that elevator pitch or whatever, because as humans, we really thrive when we have a format or a flow. And so I think you were playing into the way we learn and the way we want to have experiences. But then it really is spending that time to get to know the people that you're talking to, get to know the room that you're in, because your quote unquote elevator pitch isn't going to be the same if you're talking to a group of mothers versus a group of dog owners or, carpenters or whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. And so I think it is knowing and believing enough in yourself that you are empowered as a messenger to say the right thing that's going to resonate with some and repel others, because your messaging only works well when it attracts and repels all at the same time.
Some of us are really good at repelling others.
Yeah. And that's okay, right?
Well, you got to get good at the other side. If it's only repelling, not attracting, then something's broken.
Right, exactly. And so I think that when you're introducing yourself and really making it so that within the first few sentences, someone can say, I'm curious, I want to learn more about that for myself, someone I know, or it was cool meeting Dave, or it was cool meeting Amy. I'm sure they do a lot of really cool things, but it's not something that I really want to hear. And I think the other thing too, Dave, I've been in marketing and messaging for over 20 years. I started in radio. The game has changed so much, right? Mm-hmm. There is so much more content we're consuming, so much noise out there. And so I do think that as we grow and shift and have more experiences, we become better aware of how to introduce ourselves or how to present what we talk about. And we get wiser as we have those interactions. So what worked for you 20 years ago is not going to work nowadays. And that's okay. It's part of the process.
I remember one of the best elevator pitches I ever heard was in the real estate space, which is where I spend a lot of time as well.
Yeah.
And this acquaintance of mine, she always had like the normal kind of elevator pitch. Somebody asked her what she does. Well, I help, people get really good returns on their money by investing in affordable housing, blah, 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 whatever, right? And she got really sick and tired of using that spiel. Mm-hmm. And then one day she was somewhere and somebody asked her what she did. And it just kind of came to her, says, I collect houses.
I like that.
Well, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I collect houses.
Sure. And my first question is like, well, how? Exactly. How do you do that? What
do you mean houses? Like little porcelain houses, big? So it started the conversation, right? So
100%.
That was the best elevator pitch I ever heard, and just so easy, Right. So what's an example maybe of something that you've helped a client to mold or create? This really helped them get clarity. More importantly, help the people that they meet get clarity about what they do. Do you have any examples that pop into your mind? Or even you guys, like when people ask you what you do?
Right. I do actually. So I worked recently with a jazz singer, and she's really trying to stand out and not just be a singer. And when you talk to her, like her soul is deep into this, but she just got into jazz singing later in life. It's her second career. And we really doubled down on her ability to tell stories. And so her name is Maria. And so Maria has jazz vocals that really tell a story, that bring heart, history, and presence into every performance. And she's using this to pitch herself to get gigs. So that's going to be different than what she's going to post on her website to really attract followers and, super fans that want to buy her CD. Mm-hmm. But we really had to think on what was it that a venue would want out of a jazz singer that just didn't sound, besides like they sound good, right? You don't want them sounding horrible and getting that bad reputation.
Well, that's kind of the minimum criteria that they're going to be looking for anyway, right?
Yeah. And she really loves playing at these historic places and pulling the stories from the historic places and actually bringing them into her performance. So that was kind of one that I worked on recently, and she's using this actually in email. She never actually gets to talk to these places first. She is using it in her digital reach out to them. And so that's just another way to think about, gosh, how, when you do send a cold email, if you're going to send one out to somebody, what is it that you say that will get them to read to that next line or even open up that email? So it's not just when you're speaking the words, it's how else are you writing them too?
Right. Yeah, very well said. So, Amy, what would be an example, in addition to the jazz example, of one of the clients that you've worked with recently where you've really kind of helped them kick things into high gear with their organic marketing?
Yeah. So we also have this marketing digital agency that works with the tech space. And her whole being of why she started her company was completely being missed from her introduction. And so she wants to work with tech companies, or she works with tech companies that want to bring the humanity back to technology. And the reason why that is a part of her big mission is she saw so many people in the production industry treated poorly. And she wants to bring humanity back to production, especially in the tech space. So her introduction is much more around her bigger mission and her bigger why, even though she's doing like these really cool videos on, think about speaker systems or PlayStation type game console things. Like those are the things that she's working with. But she is looking more for that value alignment within a company when she talks. And so when she's talking about the humanity in tech, a lot of people are like, well, there's so much tech and AI and everything. So it kind of goes down a little bit of a side road, and then she gets to bring back that conversation. But we've noticed when she leads with that, bringing the humanity back to tech, especially with their marketing.
That hooks people.
Yep.
Yeah, so it says that hook, bringing humanity back to tech. That's kind of the main messaging. Okay, cool. And how has that, how long have you been working with her, and how has that affected her bottom line? Or is this?
Well, so we've been with her for about a month and a half.
Oh, okay.
And she's coming up on her 10-year anniversary. And the interesting thing about the work that she is doing is she has really great repeat client business. But there's also this piece, and I think I talked just briefly about this, about being empowered to be your best messenger. And a lot of people lose that when they're working with the same clients or when they're working in business, and they just get away from sometimes that root reason of why they created their business. And so that's why I love getting to really ask people and interview people and really figure out, why are they doing what they do? Because people buy your why. There's tons of other great digital marketing production companies out there that I'm sure these tech companies could be hiring, but they really felt attracted to our why. And so when we can go back sometimes to that root why you started your business and what you really stand for in the world, that's the game changer again, where you're either attracting the people who want that and believe that and see that as well, or you're repelling them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool stuff. So as we're recording this, Amy, we're wrapping up another year. We're going into 2026 already. My God. What plans or what exciting things do you guys have in the books for the new year? Anything going on for you?
Yeah, I think one thing that we're realizing, messaging does take time, and I'm a believer you need to invest the time to do it. So it usually takes about a year for us to get the right messaging, for you to test it, for there to be playful experiments, because marketing is just one playful experiment, let's be honest.
After another.
And what we're kind of realizing is there's these little subset groups that people need help with. So maybe it's their LinkedIn profile. Maybe it's the sales page for their offer. And so we've really worked this last year to kind of roll out those micro experiences to just get at least one piece of what you're putting out there up-leveled, and then we can really come back and work on that more long-term strategy and really dig even deeper into the messaging. There's only so deep that we can go with like the one-off projects, but it really, I don't know why my gift is messaging, but it's not everyone's gift. And so I think when you're really putting together some of these key assets, partnering with someone to co-create and really bring out your voice is going to be key, because I don't think someone can write these things for you. I don't think they can do them for you. You need to be an active participant in the process. But you do need someone that's going to ask you the thoughtful, right questions to really get to the bigger heart and the bigger why of what you're doing, so that you can put that content out there for your consumers to engage with and really believe in with you.
Yeah, most definitely. That's the whole key to differentiating yourself from everybody else that's out there in your industry, right? So fantastic. Amy, if people want to connect with you and find out more about who you guys are and what you do and where you are, how can they do that?
Yeah, just check us out at joyfulbusinessrevolution.com. We have our own podcast too. If you're into the podcast, it's Grow Your Business for Good. And you can find us either at those places.
Fantastic. Amy, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the High Ticket Success Podcast. Want to be featured, share your story, and inspire other premium coaches, consultants, and advisors? Apply now at highticketsuccesspodcast.com/guest.